Welcome, everyone. You are about to embark on a journey through the universe as you indulge in this extraordinary essence of enlightened, empowered, evolved. Let the show begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Just in time. Greetings, everyone. I'm Luke Bryan Smith, and welcome to Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved, where we educate, motivate, and liberate you through enlightening dialogues, empowering music, and evolving content. I know everyone's doing well, and everything is unfolding perfectly. And I'm excited yet again because my next extraordinary guest is an historic psychologist, and she helps women to define and create relationships they desire and a whole lot more. But without further ado, I introduce to you Laura McDermott. How are you doing, Laura?
Thanks, Lord. I love the intro on your channel. It's awesome.
Thank you.
I'm great. I'm happy to be there. I'm great. We manage with the time zones, and yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. As I mentioned prior, yeah, this is amazing technology that we get to be in such different time zones, different countries, and able to just meet face to face like this virtually. It's absolutely amazing. And I also want to add that I believe that time is one of our most precious assets, and for you to spend just a segment of your time in the history of your timeline here with me on Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved, I just want to extend my sincerest gratitude to you. So thank you very much for being here at this present moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord. I'm happy to be here and meet you, and great.
Absolutely. So let's just get right into it. Give us a bit of insight on you being an historic psychologist. What does that
Es so
mean?
esoteric psychologist
Oh,
is
esoteric. I said historic. Okay,
esoteric.
esoteric.
Yeah,
Okay, my
esoteric.
apologies.
It's not. No, it's fine. It's not commonly used name, and it's also not commonly used in psychology because esoteric is all the spiritual side. It's your
Yes,
soul, it's your
I see it
spirit,
now. I,
it's
I,
your
yeah, I don't know why
all of
I
the
mispronounced it.
things.
I can see it now. Apologies.
No,
Go
no, that's fine. It happens all the time. So yeah, basically, psychology is all about our mind and a little bit less about our body and behavior. So that's psychology.
ahead. Right.
Esoterics is all about soul and spiritual world. So
Mm,
obviously,
yes,
psychology and not
esoteric.
necessarily wanting include those things in
Right.
psychological field because psychology has only been kind of taken into scientific field in the last 50, 60 years. Before that,
Right.
psychology and psychiatry was pseudoscience.
Right.
So obviously now they don't really want to look at the spirit and soul and all of those kind of things. But where I come from, I truly believe that we have body, we have mind, which are disposable, and then we have soul and spirit, which is eternal. And
Absolutely.
I can't really divide the two. And from very very early, I've been fascinated by humans, by human mind, by why we do things that we do
Right.
more than what we do.
Right.
This why behind people was always fascinating thing. And obviously, looking at psychology and personality psychology, it only gets you that far. And hence I kind of developed, I went really early into Vedic astrology and astrology and all the kind of spiritual teachings and things like that. So yeah, esoteric psychology
Esoteric.
is a very little used term, but I adopted it. I like it.
Yes, yes, it's fascinating too. And yeah, my eyes played a little trick on me because yes, I can see it now. It says clearly esoteric. And yes, I am familiar with the term esoteric, but not used in relation
This
to psychology, but that is amazing. And that you've adapted this unique terminology. Amazing.
Yeah,
Yes,
and because it's missed that second word is psychology, people always have a bit of a kind of taken back because they don't expect them to be together. We're
right.
more used to kind of holistic psychology or spiritual psychology.
Right.
I specifically like those two terms together. I think it's explains how I look at my clients and how I look at my clients' lives and what's going on in their lives and so on. Yeah.
Right. And prior to that, you received a master's in psychology as well. Can you give us a little bit of journey about that? Now, you did say that you've always been sort of intrigued by psychology and the way the mind works. And yeah, but just give us a little insight on that journey to even getting your master's. W- uh, w- yes, did you get that master's there in the UK? How did that unfold a little bit? Just give us a little, paint us a little.
Yeah, sure, sure. So actually, my master's in psychology is recent. I've just
Oh,
finished it.
okay.
So my first degree is marketing. So, and that's 20 years ago. I went to uni. I wanted to do psychology. I wanted to do psychology since about age of 14. However, at the
Mm,
time, it was for some reason I decided I'm going to do marketing, which is applied psychology to some
right,
extent.
right.
Yeah, and I, followed that career path. Never worked really in marketing. Did recruitment for many years, and it was all connected to psychology to some extent.
Right.
And when people used to ask me, is there anything you regret? And
Mm,
I always said, I only regret not studying psychology.
mm,
And then at one point, I was saying it out loud again, answering this question. And I was like, but why am I not doing it? Like, like, why would I regret something that I can go and do? And
right.
that was
That
it.
you
And I was like,
enjoy and that you feel like it's part of your uh purpose and passion. Yeah, why would you?
exactly, because I'm into this esoteric, spiritual kind of way of looking at humans and through their charts and so on. But there is quite a lot of psychology that goes in there, and I was like, okay, I want to know what's actually new in that field as well. What do we
Right,
really know now?
right,
Not like 50 years ago, but what do we know now? So I'm going to study masters. So and that's what I did. And like it was
right,
absolutely like mind-blowing from many aspects. I did biological psychology, I did neuropsychology, I did clinical psychology, personality psychology and so on, and seeing where we are in those fields now and how little we still know about some things and how
right.
we have progressed and we actually look at consciousness now where 10
Mm,
years ago consciousness wasn't even mentioned in psychological field. We look at breath work as a scientific studies through the breath work. That's new. Before it was pseudoscience. They
right.
adapting more and more these spiritual things into the field slowly, but it's happening.
It's happening and I'm very excited because this is some breakthroughs that really were uh that are ancient in my perspective. And for us to be adapting it once again, something that a people had adapted long ago and then it sort of disappeared. And now in modern science, I get what you're saying. It wasn't a part of it. And now it's starting to become slowly a part of it, these studies of the spiritual, and everything is becoming a part of modern science, and as you mentioned, slowly but surely, and that's absolutely amazing. And also, you have 15 years of astrological exploration. Give us a bit of insight on that.
Yeah, so this is again very early on. I was interested, and then when I had my own kind of going through life with different things, like and wanting to understand myself and my life even more, and I
Right.
was looking for answers and thinking those answers might be somewhere out there and going deeper. At first, I was kind of looking at Western astrology and did a few years there with like amazing teacher from Latvia, where I'm originally from. And
Right.
then I thought, okay, well, I need something a bit deeper. And then I discovered Vedas and Hinduism and things like that.
Mhm.
And I was thinking, okay, well, I want to go deeper in astrological field.
Right.
And I found a teacher up here in Carlisle who actually lived in India since 80s,
Mm,
and it was absolutely
okay.
amazing as well. And yeah, I dug deeper and deeper and deeper and understand more and more about my life and myself and why things, some of the things, why they are how they are, and understanding what to also do with it, because it's not just about, well, this is what it is, and that's why you, let's say you have this thing in your chart and you can't do nothing about it. It's never like that. It's all
Right.
about you bring it to awareness, and what do you do? Because you have free will. You maybe have
Mm,
50%, some of those things that come with your soul, that come with your purpose, that come through your spirit. But
right.
what you decide to do with it, that's still your free will. Nobody has
Mm,
cancelled free will. So
wow.
yeah, so my astrological journey was more understanding about myself. It
Mm,
started for understanding about myself, and then I realized I can help other people through this as well.
right.
So yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And I am thankful that you have that uh, with inside of you to not only look for modalities or areas to help yourself, but through that extend out and help other people as well. So that's absolutely amazing. Yes. So yes, let's get into the fact that you help women to define and create relationships that they desire. Give us some insight on that as well.
Okay, so again, that comes from my personal story. So
Okay.
very early, I was fascinated, not just human mind, but also the relationships between people. When most of my friends had posters on their walls about, or with famous actors or singers, I had posters with couples on them. So on my
Okay.
wall at the age of 13, 14 was that. And then, but I didn't really connect with people in some ways. So I had
Right.
relationships, but it was never that connection.
Mm,
And then when I met my ex-husband and my son's father, it
right.
was love at first sight. It was that
Mm,
feeling that you haven't even spoken to him, you've just saw him, and
right.
it's kind of there.
Right.
And then you think it's all beautiful. You met the man, you've got the job you like, you buy the house, you have the baby, you ticked everything on the list, and you should be happy.
Right.
And you're not.
Right.
And that was when I started really truly exploring very, very deeply, why not? Why is this? Why you have this love at first sight, and it's so amazing and it's great and everything on paper should work, and it doesn't work. Why
Right.
does not work? And
Right.
then you realize, and by my own learnings and so on, I realize, what is my relationship to me? What is my
Mm,
relationship to world? What is my relationship to other people, and where it all comes from? And
right.
understanding how those universal laws work, understanding the work I needed to do with myself, and
Right.
understanding that the love at first sight, in my case,
Mm,
big part of it was on my unmet needs that I projected thinking that he's meeting.
wow. Yes. Let me interject for
So,
a second. Let me interject for a second.
yeah,
That is, and excuse me, but you just flicked a switch even within me that I would like to elaborate. Oftentimes, from my perspective, and including me, in my experience, you said something that really is powerful. And I just want to make sure that people really pay attention to this. And it's that, like you said, oftentimes we project our unmet needs onto other circumstances and other people, especially looking for them to complete us, to make us happy. And to me, to make a long story short, we have to find that happiness within ourselves first before we go anywhere else and look for someone else that has also done the same. Uh, yes, go ahead, Laura. I just wanted to
it's
highlight
absolutely
that.
true. There is this thing that we very early in this life we realize that if we are really, really lucky, and that's maybe a 1% of population who
Right.
are, as babies, they have right to be here, they are accepted. They don't necessarily need to be unconditionally loved. No, they
Right.
need to be, you have a place, space here. It's all right you to be whoever you are, however you express yourself, and you have a caregiver, a mother or a father, most often than not, it's a mother who mirrors back things to you or
Right.
takes care of all your primary and secondary needs, which is, you are hungry, she feeds you, you are needs changing, she changes you, and then slowly with time gives you this ability and power to
Mm.
soothe yourself in those
Right.
situations.
Right.
What happens to 99% of people? Some of those needs along the way are not getting met,
Mm.
and after a while, there's no one to teach you how to meet them yourself.
Wow.
And you start thinking, there's something wrong with me. I'm not getting these needs. It's not even conscious. I'm talking about your subconscious, your
Right.
psyche.
Right.
If I'm not getting what I really need, I don't ever think it's because my mom's busy. She's really tired and she's working really hard and she don't have a time for this now. I don't think like that. I
Right.
think if I'm not getting my needs met, something's wrong with me. I'm bad. I'm
Mm.
not. Because otherwise, if I would be, if everything's fine with me, she wouldn't be like this, or my dad wouldn't do this, or for
Right.
some people, they even left orphanages, or one of the parents have left, and so on. It's a scale, but
Mm.
even in so-called good good families, there's still unmet needs that happen, and it's always one decision. There's something wrong with me, and very early we realize, but I can do something about it. I can change,
Mm.
and that's where develops this. I can try harder. Okay, I didn't get 4 at maths, but I can try harder,
Right.
or I can do something else. And there is this striving need to constantly improve yourself. This is
Mm.
where it comes
Yes.
from. This
Yes.
one, especially for women, it's also for men, but very
Right.
much so for women, is
Right.
this, it's not necessarily people pleasing, but
Mm.
subconsciously is like, I want you to love me because if you love me, you meet my needs. And I
Mm.
have these unmet needs, which is subconscious. And we don't realize that we already are 30, or some of us 40, or some of us 50.
50.
And we're still looking for this other person to meet our needs if we're going to be good enough.
Right.
Then they're going it's like we walking around with a, kettle and a plug to plug into someone.
Right.
Literally, we have this emptiness somewhere inside of us. It's so subconscious for some people that they don't
Right.
even think about it. There is no
Yes.
conscious thought of any of this, what I'm talking about. But it's subconsciously is like, and then if we meet someone who resembles a, a tiny bit of either how our parents met our needs, and
Yes.
let's say we straight away we think, oh, we really like this person. We
Right.
really want to be around this person because it's remote that they could meet even more of that need. And can you imagine if you have like 100% need that needs met and you can only meet 3%? Of
Mm.
course, if you meet a person who you feel like can meet the rest of it, you
Right.
feel like you're in love with them.
Right.
You feel like
Wow.
there is this thing that you're getting. Like for women, it's oh, he understands me. Bearing in
Right.
mind she don't understand herself, but if he will understand and say this amazing thing about her, she'll be like, yeah, that's me, that's who I am. And that is like,
Wow.
that is love at first sight, and the guy is the best thing ever. And she never examines that it's her own unmet need of
Mm.
understanding. Because everybody wants to be understood and
Right.
heard and loved and appreciated
Mm.
and good enough. And once you get someone who is at least feels like meeting your need,
Right.
it feels like love. But it's not
Yes.
necessarily lasts because either one of you starts growing and
Mm.
realizing and starts doing the work, and other one doesn't get
Mm.
with the program and they
Right.
want to stay where they are because they're very happy to be saviors. They need saving because let's say there could be a guy who had something happened to his mum, or she was ill, and he constantly wanted to save her and didn't get to save her. And he
Right.
carries on to next relationship, wants to save her and wants to save her. And if he
Mhm.
is like that with a woman who wanted to be saved, but now she's growing and she doesn't need saving anymore, they
Right.
feel like they've fallen out of love
Right.
because there is no that meeting needs situation. Or he was like he wanting to save, but he wasn't actually ready to um take care of someone who can't meet their own needs day in day out. And
Mm.
it's too much, if we can't meet our own needs, there is no one's going to meet for us, and then the
Right.
relationships break down and so on. So what I teach and how I work with women is, first of all, I look at their birth charts to
Mm.
understand the bigger picture, and
Right.
then we look at reality. What is their reality showing me right now and showing them right now? And we
Mm.
talk about specific situations and patterns in their
That's what
relationship.
I was going to
As
say.
now we
Excuse
don't.
me. I apologize for interrupting, but
No, no, no.
that's what came to mind. What patterns do they keep showing over and over again in regard to what they're attracting or what they're reaching out for? Go ahead, Laura. I apologize.
No, 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 no. Keep interrupting me because I just will talk and talk forever.
No, I'm enjoying you. You are making so much even logical sense, and as well
Yeah.
as my inner self is resonating to uh
Mhm.
what you are articulating. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Laura.
Of course, and of course, the patterns is something that keeps showing up in your relationships. It means you have to deal with it. Doesn't matter how much spiritual work you go out there and try to do on yourself. If
Right.
you ignore what's going on in your reality,
Right.
it's gonna be a car crash. Doesn't matter
Mm.
how enlightened you become, because it's like bypassing your life. It's like ignoring
Mm.
what actually needs to be dealt with, what you need to do. And you just keep going to the next course and next spiritual retreat and next something thing, thinking that something else is gonna just, you know, happen for you.
Right.
You have to
Right.
deal with hard stuff. You have to have the ability to have the difficult conversations, to look at yourself, to look at your own patterns, to look at it. It's always starts with you. And women lead what's going on in relationships 80%.
Right.
Whatever's happening in your relationships, 80% is uh, directed and led by women.
Right.
Guys can only impact about 20%. Guys can impact a
Wow.
lot about what's happening around the relationship,
I never
like
knew that.
taking care of the woman, providing this financial, emotional, physical, sexual safety. That's
Right.
around the relationship.
Mm.
However, if the woman is so concerned about, let's say, financial and physical safety, let's say financial safety, we're living in modern times where
Right.
physical safety is probably pretty much there. Yeah. Let's say financial, because we still have this generational traumas of war and so on and different things that has happened. So there
Right.
is this need for safety for women, let's say financially, because we live in 2024 now.
Right.
But if she can never meet that need herself in kind of organic way,
Right.
even if she gets with someone who provides her this financial safety, she
Right.
will never really lean into it. She will be scared to lose it. And as soon as he is with her, they move on, they move in, and even get married. She's so anxious about
Right.
losing it that she start looking for this 5%, 10% that's not quite right,
Right.
because her natural state is being anxious for safety. And
Mm.
even now that he provides it, it's uncomfortable for her psyche. So she
Mm.
actually wants to find a reason why it's still not okay, because she lived 20, 30 years in a fear of not feeling safe.
Yes. Yes. And so she's projecting that as well.
It's projecting, but it's more like, well, everything is fine. He's great guy. He's got good career. He works. He's caring. We can clearly see he's taking care of me in many different ways.
Please. Right.
Ah, but there is this one thing. that I could pick on, this
Mm.
one thing that doesn't make me feel quite safe. And I
Right.
just need to make sure that it's all okay. And
Right.
what she does, instead of looking at the 90% that's amazing, she focuses on the 10% that's in
Mm.
her eyes or in her
Mm.
mind are not perfect, and starts ruining the relationship because Psyche is not comfortable with being okay and safe.
Wow.
So Psyche wants to get back to being anxious about something because
Right.
that's her default comfortable state
Oh, wow.
subconsciously. So
Yes.
she tries to do it. So this is all work that I do with women,
Right.
that they can claw back and understand where it comes from. Once you
Right.
understand where exactly that need,
Right.
unmet need comes from, and then you
Mm.
can decide what do you do with it and how you actually want this to play out in relationships. Because I'm not saying that we should just take care of all our needs ourselves. We should take care of most of our needs
Mm.
as much as much as we can. And if
Okay.
then my partner meets some of my needs extra, that's awesome.
That's extra.
He can do
Yes.
this, it's
I like how you
great.
said that. Yes, that's extra. But
That's
we must
extra,
meet
yeah.
most of
And
our
it's
needs.
nice extra,
Yes.
yeah.
But we must meet
you
most
know
of our needs ourselves first. Yes, I like that. I resonate with that. Yes, I agree.
but also understanding that men and women have very different needs in relationships. Let's say
Right.
female's primary need is need for safety, then
Right.
most men's primary need is need for significance. And if
Mm,
I can
yes.
show that
Yes.
my partner is significant, not because
Yes.
he needs it and he can't cope without me, he by himself knows he's significant, yeah?
Right.
Because he's a healthy person
Right.
who's worked on himself, he understands that what he does is significant. But if I can give him this bit of a more of a, you are awesome, it's extra. And
Yes. And
this
it
is
goes a
how
long
we,
way. It goes a
it
long
does,
way. Yes.
because feminine energy, first of all, is direction.
Right.
It's direction in terms whether you focus on the positive or you focus on the negative, whether you focus on the light or whether you focus on the dark. It's always the direction.
Right.
So, and masculine energy is force, is the power.
Mm,
Money is force, but by
right.
itself, it don't have positive or negative direction.
Right. Right.
It's feminine energy that's directed. The
Mm,
same with everything else. The same with power by itself is not positive or negative, but the direction, that's feminine energy, whether it's directed to do something good in the world or it's directed to create more chaos.
right.
And if we are born in female body, sixth chakra is where we direct energy, where it goes in direction. Let's say if I'm focusing on somebody who I'm speaking to on their positive qualities, guess
Right.
what's showing more? Those positive qualities. If
Yes.
I'm focusing on how I don't like this one thing that they do, guess what's showing more? Is the one thing that I don't then like.
Yes.
If I'm showing, if
Yes.
my son comes from football and leaves his football boots on a perfectly clean carpet, I have to show him direction. I don't have to be a nice and all this, enlightened woman who
Right.
only talks in this nice voice.
Right.
I instead of showing that the boots are dirty on the floor, I'm showing him
Mm,
it's in the shelf. They live in the shelf, and I don't
right.
have to be nice about it when I'm saying it 15th time. But I'm
Right.
still showing the direction. That's
Mm,
female energy. It's always on the direction. Don't have to be nice about how I say it. I can say you are awesome, and I can say you really ugly. You're awesome, but it's still direction. And
right.
we forget that. We forget that. And that's why I'm saying that 80% what happens in relationships is led by women because where she's focusing.
Oh, by women. Oh, because of where she's focusing. Yes, that's
Yeah, by
um,
women, where she's focusing. Because if we look at male and female standing in front of each other and we look at seven chakras, the seven chakras connected to God or universe or however you call it, it's
right.
connected to a higher power.
Right.
And then sixth chakra, it's mainly female energy, and that's direction. So she gives it to a man receives it to the fifth chakra. Then from heart chakra, she gives it. So the unconditional love. So if I'm saying to you, yes, you can do this, and then I'm also from my heart support you in your new venture. Let's say you have a new
Mm,
project, and I'm like, of course you can do it, Lud. You've done it 50 times before.
right,
This time you'll do it again. Go
right,
for it. And
right.
then if I'm following through with it from my heart, with supporting you on a daily basis, knowing that you might not be home as much or you need some kind of other support, and I'm there behind you with my heart. This is where women give again. And then what I
Right.
get back is third chakra. So from third chakra, as a man, you give me care. Only then you are giving me this protection and care. And then obviously, if I show you direction and if I love you, I like myself. That's sexual energy. When I
Mm,
like myself, I
mm,
attract more of
yes.
this.
Yes.
Not because I like myself, because I have plastic surgery and I bought
Right.
Gucci bag and I have this, but because I have direction, I have
Yes.
this the support to you, and then I have accumulated sexual energy because I like my life. I love my life. I'm feeling
Wow.
alive. That's his
Wow.
sexual energy. And
Wow.
that pulls in more events, people, situations, and so on, because they all want this positive direction that I can
Mm,
give them to those
wow.
events, projects, people, and so on. That's attracted. And that's how we
Yes.
interact with each other. Between, if we're looking at how male and female interact with relationships through their chakras.
Mm,
For
wow.
example, I talk too much.
No, you do not. You know, anyone that had, in my perspective, there's no talking too much when you're uh sharing awareness and knowledge and specialized training that you've learned and experienced. There's no talking too much. You are what you call, in my perspective, uh, giving us golden nuggets of wisdom. And to me, like I even mentioned earlier, that's resonating. Everything that you're saying right now is resonating with my soul. Just everything that you're saying in regard to the female energy and the male energy and how they balance each other out and how they work and
Mhm,
the 80% with the woman. That
mhm.
feels right to me. And it does. It's not about blame. It's just about what it is. It's just how things
It's
work.
how it works.
It's how it works.
It's
Yes.
not about whose fault is what. It's
Right.
just how the universal energies works, and
Work.
we have free will. We can go against it.
Right.
However, going against it brings its own issues and problems
Right.
and so on. We
Disharmony,
can
really.
have
Disharmony.
we can it is it's exactly it's reverse. You can reverse it. So let's say if as a woman you decided to focus on the negative things, or you completely switch that thing off, and all you do is you tune yourself up and you feel attractive, you want to be loved, you want to
Right.
start from your sacral chakra. You think, I'm going to look this way and I'm going to be this way and I'm going to
Right.
learn to be this person, then I'm going to be loved.
Right.
And what you attract is a man who's attracted to this thing, not realizing it's empty.
Mm,
And then what you have, he falls in love with you and he loves you and he gives you the love and he gives you the support that you need, and you can go out and do a career as a woman and achieve and so on.
right.
And you have this man who's kind of, supportive there in background and so on for you, and at some point you get annoyed with it and you're not happy because it's all was reversed from bottom up.
Mm, hmm.
And it can work, and there are people who have made this work, but I haven't seen people who have made this work and felt fulfilled.
Right. Right. Yes.
They have made it work.
They kind of forced it to work.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
free will.
But something's missing.
Nobody has cancelled it.
Something's clearly
Yeah.
imbalanced. Something's clear and
Hmm.
you can feel
Yeah.
it. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Laura. Amazing.
Mhm.
Amazing. And I would like to ask you, uh, while we're here, if you could share with us any links audibly for people to connect with you or to see what you
Yeah,
do.
uh I'm on Instagram. I've just changed my Instagram handle, so it's Laura underscore relationship underscore advice. And my website is meta-life.co.uk.
Okay.
So those are two places where I can be found. But yeah, I work one-to-one with people based on their birth charts, and then we look what their issues they're having in relationships and how to resolve them. Because I truly believe everything is resolvable, and I give women a clarity whether their relationship and how to improve it, how to make it great, how to make it what they want, or help them realize that the best way is part ways. I
Mm,
never make that
wow.
decision for anyone, but I help them gain the clarity, the understanding of that thing, because there are so many women like me who ticked all the boxes and feel the emptiness and feel unhappy, not understanding why, and that can last years. That inability to decide and get clarity, that can last years, and I want to help women not to waste that time, because they could truly be with their perfect match, is the person that's right and great for them, and they can build something fantastic. Or I can help them gain clarity of what's not working, why it's not working, and then they can decide what they want to do about it.
Amazing, Laura. Thank you very much for sharing with us your amazing insight, your amazing journey, awareness, knowledge, just perspectives. Appreciate you very much. And I
Thank you for
thank
having
every,
me.
yes, thank you
Mm-hmm.
everyone for watching and or listening as well. And be sure to check out the description of this segment as well, where I will have incorporated in the description Laura's links to her website and her social medias. I have those, and I will be sure to incorporate those there. So be sure to check that out.
Awesome.
Yes. And also check out the Enlightened Empowered Evolved website as well at 333empower.com. Yes. Again, thank you everyone for sharing your amazing time here with me on Enlightened Empowered Evolved, and for supporting me and my amazing guests. Be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, leave comments, questions, concerns, whatever it is, and just share this. Share this with everyone. Help the platform grow. Help us bring more amazing content like this, and share these amazing messages with people. Yes, to uplift and assist and help humanity. Thank you very much, everyone. Until next time, love and appreciation to everyone. Enlightened, empowered, evolved. See you soon.